welcome to WeekN'Geek, your weekly new comics preview for the week of March 16th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
I'm the Chris Brown. We are shooting here live from Comics and More at 28059 John R. Road.
What are you looking forward to this week most?
Well, it's kind of a light week this week, but sometimes you got to find the good in there. Even when it's a light week, you got to find some gems. And some of the things I'm excited about, I'm actually really excited about the Fear Itself prologue, Book of the Skull. Fantastic cover, written by Ed Brubaker. How can you go wrong? And tell you what, it's fun. It's a lot of setup. The idea of Fear Itself is this thing with the hammers. There's they go back to an old World War II plot with the Red Skull, and they're kind of setting up Red Skull's daughter Sin and with Zemo, and it's kind of a fun little story. I'm curious to see where it's going. Just kind of sort of an intro to the characters and the vibe and the feeling, so they can get their story cooking. But a fun book this week.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that too. But since you've already talked about it, my pick this week is Amazing Spider-Man number 656. This book's been on fire lately. I think I really liked the way they ended the last issue. All the stuff about Peter kind of coming to terms with the people who have died in his life. Dan Slott's been doing a great job with really having a very classic feel to it. The art by Marcos Martin is absolutely phenomenal. He really does a great job kind of capturing a Ditko-esque Spider-Man without it really being a throwback. One of the things I've really been looking forward to most is the debut of this new spider armor costume.
Okay.
Only because when they announced it, everybody was so pissed off online. But now I love Spider-Man costumes. Give me a new costume every week. I don't care. Make it look like Tron. Make it look like some cheesy armor. Bring back the Scarlet Spider. Whatever. New Spider-Man costumes just to piss off people.
I prefer them blue and red. I'm not going to say I'm entirely pissed off because I'm trying to be a newer, calmer the Chris Brown. But in that particular picture, that dome he's wearing makes him look like Mysterio. And I know it's just all shadows. It's somewhere in between Spider-Man Noir and Mysterio in there.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And if you're worried about, this is not the classic, it's not going to last.
None of it lasts.
This is just a new action figure that you don't have to go out and buy.
Well, they probably got a new video game coming up, right?
Yeah,
you got to have
true.
a character you can unlock.
Very true. So what else do you got this week?
So some other things I'm looking forward to this week. We mentioned last week with Sigil. I mentioned very briefly Morning Glories. And Morning Glories number 8 is out this week. It's a good book. I like the mystery. I'm not really sure where it's going at this point. But I like it. It's well written. Everyone's talking about how it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I actually had a young man who I think is maybe a little bit astray try and tell me that it's better written than Day Tripper ever was. I think maybe he should, there should be an intervention. He should be checked into a drug rehab program. But it is a good book, and I really enjoy the book. Number 8, hoping we unravel some more of this mystery, get to what's going on there. Also reading Loki this week. It's 4 of 4. It's the end of this story. Kind of, they're mixing a little bit of the actual Marvel, origin with real Norse mythology. It's been a fun book, pretty well done. The art's okay. It's got kind of an interesting vibe to it, but the storytelling's strong. And I like Loki. They're pushing the hell out of Loki these days. They're pushing the hell out of Thor these days.
I wonder why.
I don't know. And I'll tell you one thing for your Weekend Geek. We've got Thor hammers and helmets at right here. Oh wait, Mighty Mjolnir, Thor hammer and helmets. I'm not gonna put a helmet on though. What else am I looking forward to? The Unwritten, which I think is a really strong book.
Fantastic book.
Yeah, love it. It's got this somewhere in between Harry Potter and Mike Carey being smarter than me. So it's somewhere in between those two things. Really, really enjoy it. Someone once referred to it as a lit major's wet dream, and I think that's exactly what it is. And it's a really good book.
Books you should have read but probably didn't.
Yeah.
Too busy reading comic books.
If you've read the Classics Illustrated, you have a decent idea, so you read that. Read The Unwritten. Another book really looking forward to, always looking forward to, Tiny Titans. Art Baltazar, as far as I can tell, is one of the nicest possible people in comic books. And he does a really, really fun book. It's the Titans characters as elementary school kids. I'm a grown man, and it makes me laugh. Every few pages, they get to a punchline. It totally works with my non-existent attention span. a fun book. If you're not reading Tiny Titans, you should be. If you don't have children, that's okay. Pretend like you got a nephew. Take it home, read it yourself. It's good. Another one here, we talked about Sigil last week, this cross-gen stuff. I never read cross-gen when it was going, but I don't know why I have an interest in it now. I do for whatever reason. I'm kind of interested to see what they're able to pull off here. It's written by Mark Waid, drawn by Marco Perfederici. I mean, I'm a white guy. I'm probably totally saying that wrong.
Sorry, Marco.
We apologize. But yeah, I'm kind of curious in it. It's going to tie into Sigil somewhere, but this seems to be more of a Victorian kind of detective,
it's a mystery sort of book.
Oh, and I love me a mystery. So yeah,
Mark Waid's good stuff.
Mark Waid does write some really, really good stuff. I really enjoy him. So yeah, that's what do we got on the cover here. Struggling day and night to keep the world's most brilliant detective mind focused on the problems of others is hardly a part-time dalliance. Okay.
All right.
I don't know what that means yet,
Me either.
but I'm sure I will.
Cool.
That's what I got. What do you got? What are you looking at this week?
Well, I've got a couple of the Marvel .1 books. I've got Hulk 30.1 and Uncanny X-Force 5.1.
Okay.
I'm amazed that I am reading and enjoying X-Force, but much like last week's Venom, it's a Rick Remender book.
Okay.
And I think it's been
Is
a
that
great book.
Raphael Albuquerque doing the artwork?
Yes.
Oh man, I love that guy. He was doing American Vampire.
Yep. And so these are supposedly the good jumping on points if you haven't been trying the book before. Both of these are books I already get,
Okay.
but I'll still get the .1.
Well, you probably need. Have you been needing the .1s? Do you figure, if you're reading the book, or is it
No.
literally just a jumping on point?
The only .1 I've read so far was Spider-Man, and that was really Venom issue 0. So this
Okay.
hopefully will actually be a good jumping on point for these particular books. But it's just kind of strange. Uncanny X-Force, the real jumping on point is the first issue, which was 5 issues ago.
Yeah. So there's that.
Anyway, it's still been a good book. Avengers versus New Ultimates. This is part of the Death of Spider-Man storyline. I gushed a lot about how much I love Ultimate Spider-Man still. That love does not apply to the rest of the Ultimate Universe. I'm getting this out of curiosity and because I love Lionel Francis' use art
Sure.
a lot, but was not that impressed with the first issue. I love me some Casanova. I read it back when it was an Image, and I've been enjoying it in color even more.
It looks great in color.
It does. It's a great book. $4.99 for a lot of content. It's kind of crazy, wacky stuff. I wish Matt Fraction was doing stuff this crazy in his mainstream stuff, but at least I've got this to whet my appetite.
And that's to tide him over, while he's towing the company line for Marvel. So
And doing things like
he's
Fear
for itself. Yep.
Next up is Bright as Day, issue number 22. This book's only got a few issues left.
26,
and,
right?
I think it's only 24.
Oh, was it only 24?
24 is a double-sized issue, and then there was
Okay.
that 0 issue, so it's
All right.
kind of 26 issues. As with most of these kind of long weekly, bi-weekly books, I lost interest a while ago. I really don't
Okay.
know what's going on, but I love, God, what is his name? The artist. Oh, he's not even. Ivan
Clearly,
Reis.
you love him a whole lot.
Ivan Reis, who used to do Green Lantern.
Oh,
and
what's his
Bright as
name?
Day.
I love that guy.
I don't love his name. So I'm getting it mostly for that and to just sort of, see the end. But overall, I haven't been particularly thrilled with that. Next up is the Guild Tink. I'm a big fan of the Guild. I guess it's a web show. I don't know what the technical
web
term is.
series.
Web series. All of these have been pretty solid. They're written by Felicia Day, who created the show and stars in the show, and is quite cute.
She's a little hottie. You got that right.
The Queen of the Nerd Prom was the term that I've heard used to describe her. But these have been pretty good so far, and that's pretty much it. This is a one-shot focusing on the character of Tink.
Okay.
And lastly, DC Universe Legacies number 10, the final issue of this series.
Okay.
A little disappointed in this series overall. I don't think it delivered quite what I was expecting, but that could be more because how they pre-sold the series may not have been exactly what it turned out to be. It's been a little inconsistent, a little strange. This is the sort of the new official history of the DC universe after Infinite Crisis and the revised timeline, and
Okay.
it's just sort of a cliff notes of everything that you need to know to understand where the DC universe is today. The issues have been kind of hit and miss. I got a kick out of the 90s issues,
Okay.
just because I kind of fondly or not so fondly remember some of that stuff.
I was just going to say that I think it's funny how we are just now finally starting to remember the 90s
Yes.
as fondly.
Yep.
Where shortly thereafter, you're like, oh my God, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
So I've
so
woken up
there's-
from some kind of stupor that included bad haircuts and
And there's been a
brightly
lot of
neon-colored shirts.
throwback going on. Obviously, this
Yes.
which is a recap. I mentioned already X-Force and Venom and the return of cross-gen.
Yep.
There's a few other things out this week that kind of fit in that throwback style. The big one for me, even though I'm not getting it because I never liked it in the first place, but Thunderstrike.
Yeah, I was never a fan. Was it Eric Masters? Or
Eric
Masterson?
Masterson. This is by the
Oh God, it's written by Tom DeFalco. How could that
DeFalco.
possibly be good?
DeFalco and Ron
God.
Friends. But, just flipping through this book, they're making absolutely no attempt other than the coloring to make it feel like a modern book. This is, unlike Venom and X-Force, which are old books with, new content and
new
new
again.
characters. This is the old Thunderstrike. If you love the old Thunderstrike, you'll probably love this. If you didn't, then probably can stay away. Next up,
Zombie from DC, formerly of Milestone, and again, like to say very, very lots of nice things about Dwayne McDuffie, and we miss him a great deal, and DC is kind of restarting that Milestone universe. So first issue of Zombie this week.
yeah, I don't know who John Rosum is. I'm not familiar with him.
He
but
has done some other things. I know I've seen that name.
Yeah, that's familiar. Fraser Irving, the artist, phenomenal. This book
Yeah,
is great.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Full color painted stuff. So again, another blast
So
from the past.
If you liked that stuff, check out Zombie.
Also up this week, Adventure Comics 524. I've not been getting Adventure Comics. I'm not a fan of the Legion.
I'm
I've
not
not
either.
been. I was reading it when Jeff Johns was writing it, when Levitz took over.
The Superboy story was great. I really liked the Superboy story.
And yeah, that
And-
was Jeff Johns.
Yeah, exactly.
But this reads, I tried the first couple issues of this and the first couple issues of Legion. They read like old school Legion. And I never read the old school Legion. I was
Me
always
neither.
a 5-year later Legion fan. But if you like that kind of stuff, the old Bronze Age Legion, it does have that feel. And this features Phil Jimenez on art. Fantastic artist. Has come a long way from being just sort of almost a Perez imitator. Now he's just as detailed, but
Yeah,
he's kind of got
good.
a style all his own. So if you've been liking this book, if you've been on the fence, I think he would be a good reason to give it a shot.
Right on. And then that last one. This is my favorite cover of the week. The Superman
actually hold it
709.
up.
Can we hold that one up? That Flash Superman cover just looks great. It's suggesting perhaps another race.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the truth. The Flash gets grounded.
Yeah, we on the Zod Complex podcast, we've been none too kind to Superman walking across the earth. Now apparently he's running, so maybe they're going to get to the end of this a little quicker. I don't know.
God,
maybe,
let's hope so.
Maybe that's what the Flash is here for, to tell him to speed it up a little bit. But yeah, this is a great cover. I've always been a fan of Superman versus Flash.
Oh, absolutely.
fights. Wasn't last week was the Kid Flash versus Superboy?
Yes.
So yeah, those are always great
Which, if
races.
you've read it, was extra fun because I didn't want to say anything last week, but neither of them win the race.
That seemed to happen a lot in the Silver Age too.
Yes.
Some sort of a weird thing. So yeah.
Well, you can't give it to one over the other. You kind of can't.
I'd give it to Superman because he's been around longer and he makes more money. We are going to be at C2E2. As if you're watching this on Wednesday, we will be there starting Friday. Look for us on the show floor. We may be recording some stuff for another podcast that I'm on, that Chris has been a guest on, called Geek Fights. So keep an eye out for us, and
Absolutely.
we'll see you there.